Drinking here during business is very common. If your superior or your boss or someone you're doing business with says to you, "Ganbei," which means bottoms up, and you don't bottom up, it's disrespectful. Losing face. It's probably a term that you've heard before. And no, I'm not referring to John Cena and his wrestling moves, although talking about John Cena in China in the same sentence might be a little, maybe not. Moving on. So losing face, something you've probably heard of, but what is the concept? What does it actually mean? What does winning face mean or losing face? What are examples of foreigners not really understanding what face is in China? We're going to go through that all today and give you some good examples to live by. So first, Chinese say, 面子, to have face, or to 丢脸, which means to lose face. And this is something that, now the younger generation even kind of laughs about a little bit, but historically and in business, it's very important. And the way that you should think of it, right, is just being embarrassed or feeling like no one's respecting you, right? The first definition in Google, let's take a look. Losing face in China is said to be caused by embarrassment, disagreement, or criticism. Losing face is equal to losing the respect of others and avoiding this situation. Saving face is very important in Chinese culture. So for people from the West, it's like, throw some Birdman at them. You got to put some respect on the name. It's the same thing, right? The things that cause that respect or lack thereof, however, oftentimes are quite different. All right, so let's go over some examples of some things that you might not know that you can use when you come to China, or if your supplier is meeting you somewhere else, or just doing business with Chinese people in general. So the first one that foreigners, 老外, we would never know is the handing of business cards. That's certainly becoming less and less important as phones, you're just scanning people's WeChat here, and that basically is their business card. But when you do new business with people, especially a bit of the older generation, it's expected to give a business card and to receive it. And it's not like, hey, here's my business card. It's like a two-handed offering and a two-handed receiving. And really respecting that business card and getting to know the person. So remember that. Always use two hands to receive or give your business card. The next one is drinking here during business is very common. Obviously, if you don't drink for religious or you're pregnant or you have to drive or you're sick or whatever reason, of course, that's understood and respected. But if you do drink, there are some guidelines to go along when you are drinking. The first is if your superior or your boss or someone you're doing business with says to you, "Ganbei," which means bottoms up, and you don't bottom up, it's disrespectful, right? They bottomed up and you didn't. You're leaving a little behind. It's considered quite rude here and something you should definitely avoid. The other part is for drinking, and there's lots of these, but another one that, is also quite common is when you're drinking again with your superior, it's expected that when you cheers lower on the glass with your boss. So the boss would cheers higher and you would be lower. And this often leads to some pretty hilarious acts of humility in China at dinner. I've seen people go, people who treat each other as equals go like this, and one guy will go under, and then they'll go under, and soon they're both under the table. And it's all about being respectful. And I love it, right? I think it's really funny, and it's always a good laugh when it happens, because by the time you're down here, everyone knows it's funny. But for the most part, a little bit under the boss or whoever, is in charge or paying for dinner. Next, obviously, and I learned this, the Chinese business community is so good at taking care of their customer. I haven't done a lot of business in the West. And when I have, I've been, the supplier with my customer. So I'd pay for dinner or drinks or whatever. But in China, when you go to their place of business, if you're doing business with them, and obviously the more business you're doing with them, the fancier the dinner will be, the nicer the bottle of whiskey will be, the nicer the cigars will be, et cetera, et cetera. But you don't even need to bring your wallet, right? I mean, obviously do bring your phone because no one uses wallets in China. But you don't need to pay for anything, right? Your hotel will probably be taken care of. Your dinner will be taken care of. Your breakfast will be taken care of. Just the whole thing. Chinese companies do a really good job of taking care of their customers when they're in town. And they expect the opposite too when they come to visit you. Not doing that will lead to some loss of face. Not taking care of the customer will definitely, result in some diulian type of situation. There are so many examples of what can give face, save face, and lose face, right? The list, China is an incredible country with thousands and thousands of years of history. And they've, a lot of these things are kind of tough to translate and to explain. But for the most part, be respectful, right? Treat people how you would want to be treated. And you'll have a great time here. You won't find yourself losing face. You won't find yourself forcing other people to lose face or be in weird situations. Overall, it's a very dynamic system and there's lots of things to learn. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. The golden rule, right? Treat others as you would want to be treated and you'll be off to a great start here doing business in China. Hope you have the best of luck. Don't lose face. Don't make others lose face. Peace.